Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Right, come, sit.
Thank you.
Very impressive CV.
Thank you, sir.
Something that I have also done public policy
Okay.
from Kennedy School.
Okay.
Food wastage is where I want to start from. Food wastage.
Okay. Yes.
Indian weddings waste a lot of food. What do we do that food is not wasted?
Yes, sir. So some of the reasons why food is wasted at weddings is a trend to have a great range of variety of food items. So people tend to overload their plates just to taste. Some of the ideas I think can happen is there have been progressive couples who have declared that they want to reduce the environmental footprint of their wedding. So they can even have boards saying, please avoid food wastage. We can also have smaller portion sizes that are pre-decided.
And suppose despite of all this food is wasted, can we develop some mechanism
Yes.
where the food can be given to people in need?
Absolutely, sir. There is a Robin Hood Army does a program where they collect the food and untouched food. They also ensure that it is sanitized so that whoever's receiving it does not fall sick. And there are distribution networks. If I may also add an example, sir. At Georgetown, at my university, we had started a campus program where from the events itself, we would announce it online that we have food available. So students could come and pick up the food as well.
Government of India many years back
Yes, sir.
had passed an order called the guest control order.
Okay.
That the number of guests in a wedding will be limited to 100. Do you think that's a good idea?
So in principle, maybe, but the challenge with that is it is a top-down order. So enforcement can also be a challenge. And again, it goes against the right of choice. So I believe we could have better steps, more democratic steps, if possible, to reduce the food wastage so that both the things can be balanced.
You also mentioned something about life skills among children, adolescents, correct? Now, life skills among children, today we talk a lot about sex education.
Yes, sir.
Right? Is it easy to devise a sex education program for children? What are the difficulties involved?
So one difficulty is to ensure that it is age appropriate. So the sex education program can go in grades, in different grades, and we could keep improving the content based on their understanding of age. So initially, when we start, at least at the 5 or 6 age level, we start with good touch or bad touch. And that is one thing that can be done. Also ensuring that parental participation is there, because often one of the challenges with sex education is that parents are nervous or apprehensive about what is taught. So if the curriculum can be designed with parental participation, I believe it can be more inclusive and more accepted in the society as well.
My last question. Why do we use the word in MBA, Master of Business Administration, whereas they are actually studying management? Correct?
Yes, sir.
What's administration and what's management?
Yes, sir. Management would be a subset of administration, and management basically deals with how to get things done, while administration also looks at certain impacts.
Are you getting a bit confused?
Yeah, I may be. I'll just think about it.
Thank you.
Sorry.
CHANDRA, Earth Sambhav Foundation.
Yes, sir.
What does it mean and what does it aim?
Yes, sir. So at Samvarth Foundation, the word Samvarth means inclusive energy. So any solution that is developed by an NGO, we try to ensure it is inclusive. Our aim is working towards the sustainable development, and we are headquartered in Ayodhya. So in Ayodhya, Uttar Pradesh. So we our initial pilot started with sustainable development of Ayodhya back in 2018.
And you have received this FICCI award in 2021.
Yes, sir.
What did the citation say?
It said outstanding women a woman for
what work?
For environment conservation.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's too simple. Okay, tell me, what is the historical link between Maharashtra and African coast?
One that comes to mind is that Maharashtra has had port cities. So during trade, when the colonizers or traders would need to come, they would cross the Cape of Good Hope and then land at the port, western ports in Maharashtra.
But that is almost like in the times of 15th century onwards.
Yes.
What about before that?
Historical link. Possibly in regards to geographic history, if I can think of it, from the time when our continents were connected, if there are commonalities of species. Or
But in the early periods of Christian era, during that time, there are a lot of trade happening between the eastern side of Africa and Maharashtra and Gujarat. What do you understand by BRICS Plus?
Yes, sir. BRICS was the organization that included Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. BRICS Plus would be the expansion that is being considered with Iran, Argentina, and some other countries that are also getting included in BRICS Plus.
How many countries were asking to be included or were supposed to be included?
I'm unable to recall the specific number. Apologies for that.
And when was this to happen?
It was proposed last year. When it would come into force, I don't have the exact.
Okay, 1st January this year. What do you mean by China Plus?
So the China Plus One sentiment that is happening with regards to trade, that countries, while earlier they were setting up companies and manufacturing in China, now they're looking at to diversify their supply from other countries as well.
Okay. What is meant by quantum computing?
Yes, sir. Quantum computing deals with the bits, qubits, which don't necessarily take the 0 or 1 distinction, which
So,
happens in
how does
normal
it help?
computers. In quantum computing, there are 3 principles. So there's superimposition, quantum entanglement, and another one I'm unable to place.
No, I'm asking a simple question. How does it make it useful than a normal computer?
Yes, sir. One example would be that since the qubits don't occupy binaries, encryption can be stronger. So that is one way it helps. Encryption, then also communications can be faster.
All right. What is happening? What is the latest news on Maldives?
Yes, sir. So Maldives, with the recent election and the new regime that has come in, there have been effects on India as well. They have firstly asked India to move out our military forces that are there.
What has happened in the last 2-3 days?
In the with the parliament, sir, there was a ruckus situation in their legislature, and there is also an impeachment proceeding happening against the current
Okay,
president.
thank you.
All right. In the first address to the nation, the present Prime Minister reached out to the Baloch people, 15th August 2014, which is completely uncharacteristic. Okay?
Yes, sir.
With that in mind, and what has just happened in Balochistan in the last 2 weeks, and what has been happening to the Baloch people since 1948, give me roughly 30 seconds of your assessment of the entire thing.
Okay. So Balochi citizens have been more pro-India and very friendly towards our Indian culture and system. In 2014, we made an outreach, and in the past 2 weeks, because of the attack that happened from Iran in the region, there has been disturbance in the Balochi region. So that's my assessment currently.
And that's 15 seconds.
Okay. With the Balochi citizens, India can also continue with outreach if it works in a friendly
Okay,
manner
let
with
me
India.
give you a hint. What is Baloch's area as a percentage of Pakistan and population compared to the rest of Pakistan? I mean,
I'm unable to recall the specific, but proportionally, area-wise, it is a significant proportion, and population-wise, I'm not able to.
close to 45-46% of area with hardly a population.
Yes.
That is and it's the main point which you have missed out is highly mineral rich,
Oh, yes. Okay.
which is really the bone of contention. Okay, no issues. Of late, one sees in the last 7, 8, 10 years, there has been an increased hardening of stance among Western European nations. What I might call the far right, far conservative governments are being consistently sworn in,
Yes, sir.
one after the other. So, what is the underlying reason?
Yes, sir.
And please don't quote the clash of civilizations. Give me a more down to earth thing.
One of the pressing challenges deals with the economic crisis that is being faced. So the right-wing leaders are leveraging those fears of the general citizens and banking on that. We've seen that in the US elections as well. So that is one concern. Resource scarcity and the conflict that is happening has been another reason. And immigration has been a very significant concern.
Now, since you brought up the US elections, what is this MAGA?
Yes, sir. So MAGA was the narrative presented by the Donald Trump administration, calling it "Make America Great Again."
In that, sorry for interruption. Give me your take on how would Rishi Sunak, Indian origin, British, right? How would that compare with the also Rans whom we have had, Kamala Harris and Nikki Haley, and now our friend, now Vivek Ramaswamy. How would you compare this MAGA set versus that?
Yes, sir. So Nikki Haley, Kamala Harris, and Vivek Ramaswamy come from the right-wing MAGA narrative, while Rishi Sunak has been a little more on the liberal end and has also expressed his interests, that there is alignment with Indian interests as well. At the same time, so one of the concerns with the MAGA grouping is that they are not in favor of issuing many H-1B visas, and they want to crack down on that. Secondly,
I think you have summed it up. So it is not necessary that India's interests are necessarily taken care of by people of Indian origin.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Unlike in UK.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Chandra Prabha, going by your extracurricular details, don't you think if you join civil service, you'll be captive of a rule-based working atmosphere, whereas in your present format, you have much more freedom and much more bigger canvas?
So in theory and structure, the services are role-based. And you mentioned rule-based or role-based?
Rule.
Rule-based, yes. So I believe that the rules that are in place are there to ensure that we also work on merit basis and with neutrality. So I believe they are there for a reason, and they will only enhance my capability to work better while staying aligned with the rules. And also the civil services also gives us enough freedom for discretion-based, situation-based decision making, especially when it comes to the needs of the people of our district. So if I keep the moral compass as the needs of the people and our constitutional values, then I'll be able to balance the rules along with the values that are needed.
No, but the scope of work will be straight-jacketed.
Scope of work will be straight. I believe that as a district magistrate, if I take that position as an example, that role is at a vantage point that can integrate the different areas of needs of a district. So I don't think personally, in my humble opinion, that it is very straitjacketed. There is a diverse range of issues that we will get an opportunity to work for.
Okay. Let's suppose you are posted as DM Ayodhya, right? So please tell us your 3 priorities of interest and work
Yes, sir.
which you can do to the city and to the district.
Yes, sir. The city itself, the temple city, there's a great opportunity to ensure that the tourism footprint that is coming is sustainable and is in lines with ecotourism principles. So the first would be waste management in that temple city, ensuring that whoever the tourists that come have a safe and pleasant stay. Those are some of the, and also the local people, livelihood generation opportunities can also be looked into for the temple city through ecotourism. For the district as at large, we can look at the first thing would be development with environment at the core. The district is home to the Saryu River, which has endangered gangetic dolphins, and the Saryu River is potentially threatened by any unplanned development that might happen. So sustainable development at large for the district with river conservation, wetland conservation, which can also help improve conservation-based livelihoods in the district.
What about the common citizen?
Yes, sir. For the common citizen, I believe there's great opportunity for livelihood generation. Also, of course, safety and law enforcement will have to be taken care of. Those are some things that come to mind.
What was the waste management project you undertook there?
Yes, sir, in Ayodhya.
Waste Management Award, Nagar Nigam Ayodhya 2018.
Yes, sir.
What was it about?
We worked with citizens to improve waste management behavior at the waste generation level, at the level of waste disposal, and also in terms of dignity of labor for our Safai Karamcharis.
How?
The dignity of labor part, sir?
No, the collection and disposal.
Yes, sir. So the first aspect with citizens was general awareness on how they can reduce their waste footprint to begin with. So saying
You went door to door?
Yes, sir. We had door-to-door activities. We also did the Swachh Saryu Abhiyan, where we did a community-led, it's a weekly cleanup. So citizens come to the river and they are able to physically see the impact of their waste generation and they get more motivated to reduce their waste footprint.
My final question to you is, what are your views about the government scheme of allowing lateral entry to All India services?
Yes. I believe it's a positive step because it will bring in more subject matter experts, more efficiency and technical expertise. At the same time, we will also have to look into the morale and motivation challenges that can happen with the existing workforce. So somewhere we would have to balance both the issues. But I think in principle it is a good step forward if the morale and motivation of the existing civil services can also be taken care of.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You are into addressing human-dogs conflict.
Yes, sir.
Stray dog attacks are increasing in India,
Yes, sir.
especially in the cities of Noida and all of the suburban divisions.
Yes, sir.
And the government policy on this too is on this is. Are you aware of the government policy on this?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
So the first one is to ensure animal birth control in a scientific and sustainable manner. The second also deals with working with civil society organizations. We also have rules in place. So the Prevention of Cruelty Against Animals Act exists. During COVID-19, in fact, one of the policies that were brought in was to work with civil society organizations to organize feeding drives with volunteers. So these are some of the policies that exist.
Speaking on stray dog attacks on humans,
Yes, sir.
what can be done on that?
Yes, sir. So to begin with, the population needs to be scientifically and safely managed. So the animal birth control programs that are there one of the challenges is that they are not economically viable for either the municipal corporation to work with or civil society organizations. That's one thing. Secondly, with animal welfare volunteers, the conflict exists because the animal welfare volunteers, for the right reasons, are also concerned about animal rights. So they can also take active role in ensuring that there are designated feeding points so that the territorial conflict can be reduced. At the same time, I think one solution can also be profiling of the stray dogs using technology so that they can be taken care of in a more peaceful manner. These are some of the solutions.
Okay, what is this human dogs conflict? What kind of conflicts we have with dogs?
Yes, sir. So when I work with them, the major conflict is with people who are generally scared of dogs and animal welfare volunteers who are trying to protect the rights of the dogs. Both have valid concerns. However, and I worked in consultations with both on the same table. So there, if the fears of both the parties can be understood, and if dog behavior can be understood, especially people who are fearful, what we work with is we teach children, because the major concern of citizens is that they're fearful for their children's safety for right reasons. If children can be taught on how to remain safe around dogs, I think that's a good step forward to
And
ensure.
there are people who has this phobia from animals. What is that phobia called?
Phobia from animals?
Yes. Stray animals especially.
I'm not aware of the specific terminology.
Okay, so they are not only the people who are just afraid for their children, but they are afraid for themselves also, na?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay. Second part I have observed from your DAF is environment, sustainable. Everything is so green in your DAF too. Why developing countries are less environment conscious?
At the outset, I wouldn't say that developing countries are less environmentally conscious. One case in point being India itself. We are a culture that is very judicious in its usage, and we are a savings-based culture. We waste less compared to our developed countries. But at the same time, I believe one reason could also be that environment as a priority sometimes needs to take a backseat because we have other development needs, like managing poverty, like ensuring energy security for all. So that could be one challenge why we're not able to focus on environment, because we need to meet the basic needs of our citizens. However, India, I believe, has shown great leadership with, for example, the LIFE campaign that has come up, our leadership in renewable energy as well.
Okay, what is public interest and public good?
Public interest in
Public good.
public good, yes. Public interest is all of the issues that concern people at large, and public good is any good that is non-exclusive. Yes, sir, that is mainly non-exclusive public goods.
Okay, your foundation is based in Ayodhya.
Yes, sir.
And you are from Mumbai,
Yes, sir.
right? What kind of governance and administration difference is there between Ayodhya and Mumbai? Or let's say for a general UP and Maharashtra?
Okay. With Mumbai and Ayodhya, the first major difference is that Mumbai is a municipal commission, and Nagar Nigam Ayodhya also is a municipal commission, but the size and the scale of the funding that they have, that is a large difference there. In general, with Maharashtra and UP, I believe in administration, one advantage with Maharashtra is that it has achieved more efficiency. Technology integration is also in place, while UP is still making strides towards it, especially at the local level of administration. That's some of the comparative differences I can recall right now.
Okay, my last question. What two things can you take from UP to Mumbai or from to Maharashtra?
UP to yes. The most recent advancement that UP has had was its crackdown against crime, and the law enforcement has improved. Maharashtra in general has had better anti-crime statistics. However, I think the drive that was done especially with people's awareness and civic vigilance, that was one thing where citizens also came and participated in ensuring that communities are safer. So that's one aspect that Maharashtra can work on. I'm.
What about bulldozer thing?
Oh yeah.
Do you want to take it to Mumbai?
No, sir. So with bulldozers, the anti-encroachment drive, in fact, this was a similarity that happened even recently in Navi Mumbai. There was a incident of large-scale bulldozers that happened. Whatever happens needs to be rules-based and needs to ensure that the law is taken, there's due process of law. At the same time, hearing and audi alteram partem principle needs to be given. So a due hearing needs to be given to the citizens as well so they can represent their case. That's my stand
Thank
on
you.
it.
When's your interview?
Third phase, sir.
Pardon me?
Third phase, it's not
Plenty of
this
time. You done any other mocks?
This is my third mock I've done.
Feedback received in general?
They said that I can go deeper into issues. That's one thing. Knowledge base, I can work on that. They also mentioned that I need to be ready for some controversial and slightly more difficult questions. So I need to prepare for that. They said that I might need to, one interview, I needed to reduce the informality of body language. That's what they said.
Do you agree with all of these?
That's important. Do you agree with what was told?
So I want to come across as naturally as I can without looking like I've been robotically prepared for something.
You are one of the rare candidates I have met who was actually enjoying the interview. Most of them look half dead. Correct?
Engagement is here.
And give the impression of being beaten to death. Yeah, it's not a torture.
I do not want to say anything negative for the sake of saying it because you are so good.
Thank you, sir.
Why carry a bottle inside?
So sometimes because of the dryness, I tend to cough.
All right.
So I wasn't sure if there'll be a glass. I just can't.
Fair enough.
Part of your natural thing.
One or two places you could have thought a bit more before answering.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the one very specific thing that I noticed.
Certainly.
Because we didn't carry the administration management thing further. Otherwise,
Because of time.
the time constraints and you would have gone around in circles.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't go into public policy because that's my specialty too. And I knew that, so there was no point. When you walked in, it was either a whirlwind or a breath of fresh air. That's somebody different. Informality, the part somebody mentioned, I put you very natural, very good. But sometimes the UPSC boards are a bit conservative, if that's the right word.
Yes.
If at all that's not the right word, but that's the best I can think of.
Certainly.
I don't even know how you could give it a try.
No, I would say that it was. I would put it this way. You see this Shark Tank or something?
Shark Tank,
Yes.
yeah.
Shark Tank. I thought it was like a Shark Tank interview.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah. You come across as someone very accomplished, and people will be scared to get you into the civil services.
I truly want to be there. So
Okay? So your DAF is very impressive. And people will fail to believe that a person with so much of accomplishment wants to come back to civil services and start at the level of undersecretary, where you will be almost like a down-to-earth person.
I started with that.
yes, sir.
you are-
Yeah. So it is hard to believe that a person as accomplished as you can be inducted into the civil services at this stage of your life.
32.
So I don't know how to.
And yet he has given you more marks than I have.
I've given you more marks because I found it good. I would love to have a junior working for me like you. So that is a mixed reaction. You have to just play with this.
I'll cut the long story short before he
Yeah.
comes in. I think with this kind of an interview, you are through.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
Absolutely through. Brilliant. Very, very good.
Very good.
Gaurav.
No, really nothing. It's been said. We are very the one thing which I have again liked is that at times you are absolutely through with the answer. At times you stop and think.
Yes, sir.
So the way it comes across is not bookish, but a naturally thought out,
Yes.
your own words, original answer.
That was a very good
That's
point. You were
very
not bookish.
endearing.
Yes, that's something I should have mentioned too.
Yes, and you see, we all have noticed it. We're just filling in for each other. Thing is, I also completely believe that you should be what you yourself are.
Absolutely.
Don't be robotic. I mean, you have said it yourself. What I have been telling everyone else. So all the best. I really hope you have done well in your
You have still a lot of time to work on. What do you intend to do in this time? How do you want to practice?
I will strengthen my DAF content wise and also deal with any issue where I might tend to take an extreme point. I'll ensure that I give the other side, that I'm looking at the other perspectives as well. So I'm constantly brainstorming on what can be asked and what my thoughts should be, and current affairs.
Yeah.
I think I'll also pitch in a bit. Please, sir.
Please, absolutely.
You mentioned about uncomfortable questions. You bet they might be asked because the routine questions you're very comfortable with.
Okay.
So they might deliberately want to put you through, this uncomfortable, outside your comfort zone.
Yes.
How you react to it. It could be about UCC, about the three temples, about the AMU.
Yes, sir.
Okay, about the Teen Talaq, Halala, this, that, about a huge disproportionate conversion of Sikhs to Christianity,
Yes.
about how we have been dealing with tribals, about stuff.
All right.
So you should come across as a person who appreciates both sides of the
Okay.
arguments and yet has formed a deliberate viewpoint,
Okay.
and it's not just an off-the-cuff viewpoint. It's deliberate
I'll cut
and
it
it's
short. I'll cut it short.
I'll work on
I
that.
think you are smart enough to know what he has said.
I'll
You are
work on
going-
that, yes.
You are smart enough, you are good as you are. Keep going. I would love to see you in the service.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
All the best.
You have any questions?
Just one. This was a concern. I wasn't sure about the push and pull that is happening because people were telling me to tone it down.
Which one?
The way I am, basically. They were asking me to be more formal and more restrained.
We were trying to don't be artificial. Most
Okay.
important is do not be artificial.
So I can be this way. It's
Yeah.
Okay.
The moment artificial it shows, it's very easy to see.
I won't be able to pull it off. I won't be able to for 30 minutes.
I would suggest being natural is very good, but interview is kind of very subjective in nature. So you need to know what kind of questions you are being asked. You need to get the vibe of the room.
Okay.
If everybody agrees with me,
But for a person like
is it conservative or is it liberal? What kind of is
So
it?
I'll read the room based on the feedback. Does that work? Should I?
it will be delta plus delta minus. Just be yourself for now.
most important, and for a person like you, it'll be very difficult to be artificial.
That's yeah.
Correct?
How do you plan to go to the main interview?
No,
That's
sir.
why.
There'll be a sari. It's cream in color. I'll go in sari.
Perfect.
So as long as you're comfortable.
If you are going for some other mock, then try that only.
Certainly, I'll do that.
Right.
I'll go in
Yeah,
there.
you will know that it's very comfortable.
I don't think you need to waste too much time taking mocks.
But you are good.
Okay.
Work on content.
Take one mock every week or so.
One mock every week.
And
That's
if at all you think you have any shortcomings, spend more time on that
Yeah.
I'll do that.
rather than.
Okay, I'll work on that. Would it help to if I request the same panel just closer to my mock, because I think this
We'll
was
be
the
very
most
happy.
Yes.
most assuring
Yes,
one for
yes.
me.
We'll be
Perfect.
delighted.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. I learned a lot.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Wow.
Very good.